Thank you everyone for coming here today. My name is Shawn Thomas. I'll be running as the Game Master, playing in Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition. You've all agreed to support Flix on taking on a particularly dangerous mission where you need to eradicate spiders that have taken up residence in a major trade route. However, the danger doesn't come from the spiders. It comes from the two young guests who are going to be accompanying you on this adventure. We'll have Aya and Gilbin. Both are residents of Bristleburn City, where the Adventuring Guild is located. However, they both come from two very different backgrounds. We'll be taking off our scene in the Limping Pony Adventurers Guild, where all six of you are waiting around the bench for Flix to return with either one or both of these adventurers. And as I am providing this narration, you can tell that the minstrel is playing some soft music. The regular crew hasn't shown up yet to fill in the seats, but the actual tavern on the far side is making a lot of noise as regulars are showing up. The doors open and Flix begins to come through. And right behind Flix is a 15-year-old human. She's following along. She's wearing ragged gear, and she has what looks like a mace equipped and belted to her hip. The two of them come forward and approach the group. And as they do so, Flix gestures behind himself with his thumb and then looks to the rest of you. Oh, sorry that took so long. Listen, I had to go ahead and find Malaya, and as soon as he says Malaya, she immediately interrupts him, smacking on the back of his shoulder to get his attention. Hi, don't call me by my full name. Call me Aya, or I won't grace you with a response. I'm still a student, but that's only because I'm still 15. Give me another year and I'll be on the field and leaving you all behind in rank. Anyway, my teachers think I need to be here to learn from you all, so don't let me down. And Flix will let out a soft sigh. Well, I see that introductions on this end are done. Well, let me go get the other guest. And Aya will interrupt. What in the nine hells? Why is there another person here on my quest? And you feel like this has been brought up more than once already as Flix heaves a sigh. This was never exclusively your quest. The adventurers here are aware of taking the two of you. Wait here and speak with them, and I'll be back shortly. And I will turn to the party, hands spread wide, looking between all of you quickly for an explanation as Flix departs to get the other individual.
I mean, if you want it to be your quest, what are we doing here then? Brooks, player 4 says.
Apparently, as you know, Aya walks up to you. I'm here because I'm supposed to learn something from you. Maybe like what not to do, I guess. And she'll look over at the rest of the group and she'll kind of hone in on Jure and go, what is it that you do for the group anyway?
The best I can.
Don't worry, you'll find out.
Oh, okay. Well, am I allowed to sit down with this wonderful adventuring group?
Of course. Join us at the table.
She'll kind of like, shrug her shoulders again. She'll drop her mace off at the back, and you'll notice she's not wearing a backpack or has any other supplies with her at this time. And as she's wrapping that up, the bartender, DeLuke, will have one of the bar staff bring over her a glass of water, and he'll offer all of you a sly wink and, kind of like a gesture, raise a hand if you need anything. Is there anything else any of you would like to ask or speak with Aya at this time? Or would you like us to move on the scene and then have Flick show up with the other NPC?
Oh, yeah.
Player one. Go ahead. Peter.
What's your background? What have you done?
Aya will look over at you and be like, what have I... Hang on. And she'll get up and she'll approach you. What do you mean by what have I done? Like, are you trying to accuse me of doing something?
No. I merely asking you to regale us with tales of your exploits thus far, so we might know what we're working with.
Oh, well, if you wanted to know how badass I am, that's all you had to say. I'm top of my class in martial combat, not to mention the fact that I've scored within the top 10 in the written and aptitude section as well. And not that I've been allowed to officially go on adventures, but I've been outside the gates a few times and helped swing my mace around, get rid of some of the local critters, helped out a farmer, earned a few coins.
That there is a right good mace. Look at my mace. We got good maces.
And she'll look it over at your mace, and she'll kind of peer over just a little bit. She'll go, "That's not too bad. How much did that cost you?" And
Oh well, I actually I got that as a gift from a very appreciative partner when helping them out with something that they needed.
oh, that must be nice, getting things just given to you. And she'll, turn her back and start to walk away a little. And Aves, you said you wanted to say something.
Yes, Aves will lean forward a little bit and ask, so you are the top of your class in your written and intellectual aptitude. Please tell me more about that.
And she'll go back over towards the bench, but she'll sit across from you. And she'll start to go into some additional detail around how she was being tested for general history. There were some basic mathematical courses. There were some science courses. And you'll realize that she's very heavily leaning in rote memorization. Like most of the items that she's coming back with are things where she's able to recall and regale you with areas where all she had to do was memorize it and then put that back onto paper, so to speak. But she's very proud of it. And she spends most of her time highlighting who she has beaten more so than how well she has done. And throughout the midst of this, you do hear the door open once again as Flix and another individual come through. As these two come in together, Flix is going to give a soft smile and go, "Oh, good. She has a drink of water and she's not biting. This is just wonderful." Anywho, so this is Gilbin, unless he prefers to go by Gil or Ben. And Gilbin will look at the group. "I prefer strangers to address me as Mr. Hisatra, but for brevity, I suppose Gilbin will suffice." And Flix will nod and say, "Right, Gilbin then. The two of you will be accompanying our group of adventurers here on a quest to investigate and subdue a giant spider issue that is occurring in one of our more heavily traversed mountain passes. The quest should take 3 days to get there, resolve the issue, and then return. The limping pony will provide rations for the road, but you are otherwise expected to pack any other essentials you'll need. The two of you will listen to and respect the decisions of this party, and I have asked them to also enable you to participate in combat and other activities. And I will, at this point, have been making her way over. And we'll say, "So is this taking 3 days because that fat ass over there doesn't want to get one of his precious wagons muddy or what?" And Gilbin will look at her with a sneer. "Yes, being wealthy is such a difficult task. I'm sure you can't imagine what it must feel like to have options for what to eat for a meal, or for that matter, having more than one meal to begin with." And Flix will immediately step in between them, hands upraised. "Cut the crap. You two don't need to be friends, but you do need to cease the hostility. If this escalates, this quest is canceled, and I'll be sure to fill in exactly why to your father," as he points at Gilbin, "and to your teachers. And this report will carry over if either of you seek employment or services with this guild in the future." Big sigh coming out from Flix, clap of his hands, points over at the entire group of players and goes, "They're all yours. It's early morning. You have a long trek ahead of you till you reach your first campsite. I suggest you get any additional questions and answers out of the way, and then get on the road before you lose the day itself." And with that, he walks down, he hops the desk, opens up a book, and then immediately, loudly, and with clear intention, opens it and puts his feet up to not see the rest of the party. And Gilbin is now looking to the group, and there's a slight difference about Gilbin and Aya who came in. Aya came in with a mace and her, well, what she's wearing. Gilbin has 3 backpacks, and he also is sporting a mace and leather armor, and apparently wearing some nice clothes, not travel appropriate, but nice. And he'll look to the group and go, "Great. So, who can help carry my packs?"
Aves can, not Aves. Sorry. Oh, what's her name? Oh,
Aya,
Aya. Thank you. Aya can.
I will turn around and look at you. "Excuse me, I am not your, and especially not his pack mule."
With that, Aves, player 1, will begin casting a ritual unseen servant
Okay.
to basically prepare to help carry packs, because why not?
Fantastic. So Gilbin is going to offer you a soft smile, and he will actually flip you a gold coin and say, "Oh, thank you so much." The gold coin will not know anywhere near you, but if you're willing to get under the table to get it, you can add that to your character sheet.
I will use Mage Hand and grab it from there, because I am not about to go under the table.
Fantastic. Aya is going to go back over to the table. She is really eyeing up Gilbin. And a little out of character insight for the players here. The Red Caps and the Barons, they're not at war with each other in the traditional sense, but it's very much so a situation of class warfare. Gilbin seems to be representing very much so someone who has been spoiled and is kind of portraying that very heavily, as though he is leaning on that to push other people away or deflect things that bother him. And Aya is coming from an area of want and need, and is either showing signs of jealousy or is just showing signs of irritation. You can't quite be sure yet. However, the two of them are waiting for direction from any of you that want to take the lead from this point.
Aya, do you have any equipment with you apart from your weapons?
And she'll call over to you from across the group and go, "Why do I need anything more than that? I sleep on the ground normally. And they just said they'll give us rations, so I've got food and I got a weapon."
You can get cold in the wilderness at night. You do not have a blanket. You do not have...
She'll roll her eyes at your explanation. Go, "Listen, this sounds like a whole bunch of adventurers who are too used to comforts, in my opinion. But I respect you as I must, so this quest does not get canceled. However, unless I can sleep in one of, well, his oversized backpacks, I only have what I brought."
The wilderness can be a dangerous place. You should be better outfitted. Let us help you. We are here to show you around, show you how adventurers do things.
And she's sputtering a bit. Go, "Okay, let's say I take your advice. That's not going to create coin in my pocket to buy the things that you're talking about."
Coin can be made. Coin can be earned. Coin can be borrowed.
I can't. She'll sour at the bar. Things. "Here, I'll make you a deal. I'll carry his bags, and I'll help out by doing with that, since I think your little invisible man can't carry more than one anyway. And in exchange, you get me what those things you talk about, and I get to keep them, or do I have to give them back?"
That will depend on you. If you wish to accept this, you may keep them. If you feel it is too much charity and beneath you, you can return them.
And she'll think it over for a moment and go, nah, it's not like I'm against charity or anything. I just don't like the pity that comes with it. If you say we need them and you can spare it and we're going to be a team, then yes, I'll pull my weight. And she'll walk over and grab one of the bags off of Gilbin, who is just kind of letting it happen. He's not trying to egg it on or put oil onto the flame or anything else. And he'll just comment, to be a bit fair, you can have the contents of that backpack. I brought extra anyway. Oh, thank you for the offer of charity and helping out. This is my contribution to the group then. She now has a set of traveling clothes. I've got 12 books in there. There's some dishes and a teapot. I've also got 7 sets of silverware. I believe there is a knapsack and 14 rations as well.
Vadak will head over and start going through those 3 bags. You don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this.
You will have successfully unloaded 5/8 of his backpacks, which have been filled with books, shoes, silverware, a variety of lotions and ointments. There was slippers. There was horseshoes in case they encountered someone that needed new horseshoes. And he also had a variety of other odds and ends, including a collapsible 10-foot pole, because he had read somewhere bringing a 10-foot pole along is good adventuring 101. So, what you guys...
Right.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, God.
At the end of the day, what he is left with is 1 knapsack, 2 sets of additional clothes. He has 30 sets of rations that you guys can divvy up amongst yourselves or share with the group or tell him to leave behind. And then he also has some various cooking utensils. And that is what he would be left with, worthwhile to bring on a 3-day venture. What you'll notice, he did not pack across 3 backpacks or any torches.
Mm.
You have no means of light, no means of creating fire. How will you survive in the wilderness?
And he'll just kind of gesture at all of you slowly, not cockily, like, well, I figured you all got the fire started. And if we need it, I take a stick.
You obviously have much to learn, little one.
Offer a soft shrug and go, I can go out and get some more torches. How many do we need? 3 dozen?
No. 3 dozen would be far too many to carry. We have enough to suffice. But learn from what I have taken from you. Learn that you do not need all the comforts, but you have the bounty of nature around you.
And he'll kind of give a soft smile and go, well, I like the bounties of comfort too. But he'll agree. The torches make sense. And Flix has honestly at this point couldn't focus on his book as he gets up and he walks around the counter and he puts 1 torch in Aya's hand and 1 torch in Gilbin's hand. And he smiles to all of you and says, you all have the patience that we need for this quest. I'm so happy I picked you to take on this endeavor. And he'll look towards Lilu and motion for her to come over real quick. And he will whisper, just so that only you can hear. Listen, I have some concerns that Aya is going to either rush ahead or that Gilbin's going to deliberately try to avoid any type of engagement. With Gilbin concerned, can you try to work with Vidark and motivate him to contribute, not just be present in the moment to get credit? Would that be okay?
Yeah, we can definitely keep him motivated.
Great. And by the way, give this note to Brooks, and he's going to put a piece of paper in your hand. And do you read the piece of paper, or do you just hand it to Brooks?
I'm gonna ask, can I read this, or do you just want me to pass it along?
Oh no, this is fine for your party to see, but only the party. And if
Sounds
you
good.
open up the paper and thing, it's going to mention that Aya has really bad inferiority issues. If she's made to feel like she's contributing and is desired to help, she may either A, rush ahead and let her ego get ahead of her, or she may retaliate and just try to prove a point. And he essentially drew a whole bunch of broken eggshells on the paper and said, you'll have to walk on them. And then he, gestures away. And with that, he leaves. At this point in time, there's not very much additional information that you can get out of these NPCs. However, you could look into stores, prepare for the travel, and or get on the road. As things stand, you're going to know this route. It's going to be easy travel along a road. It will take you all day. You'll arrive at the planned campsite on nightfall, at which point it'll be one full day travel from there to when you'll be arriving around dusk time, where the spiders have been spotted and when they've been most active. Is there anything you would like to do at this point in time?
Player 1 Aves will walk over to Gilbin and do like a courteous bow. Master Hysacha, was it?
And he'll look over at you a little bit surprised and go, yes. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Aves. But let's not worry about those details. You have brought us a lot of comforts that Vadark has now removed. Do you happen to have carriage and horse that would very easily get us to our location?
He'll look a bit crestfallen and then go, well, and then he'll stop and he'll suddenly put on that front that you've seen him put on again before. My father told me that adventurers don't need handouts from merchants. They can buy their own way. Alas, I was not authorized to bring our cotton wagons, and I apologize for that.
No worries. It's understandable.
Anything else before we go ahead and proceed with the scene change? Or are we good? All right, looks like
And
we...
Amber,
go ahead.
can Amber buy a few torches?
Absolutely. So go ahead and what you'll want to do is look at your character sheet, and I'm going to get up a price here.
Okay.
All right, so a torch is going to be 1 copper each. There is a store right around the Leaping Pony area. They have plenty of torches in stock, so you can just notate on your character sheet how many torches you would like to buy and have on hand.
Okay.
Typically, most adventurers have anywhere from 4 to 8 on hand, depending on how much they need. But some people just keep 1 or 2, just if they need it for an emergency.
I'd like to buy 4.
Fantastic. So go ahead and minus 4 copper pieces, and you can add 4 torches to your character sheet.
Thanks.
No problem. All right. With that said, you will then begin the journey after picking up the torches on to your first campsite. A march along the way is a fairly easy travel, I should say. The sun is bright. There's a soft wind. You feel comfortable. There's not many people on the road. You're walking along the forest, and Aya's mood is improving by leaps and bounds once you get outside of the city. She's hopping and she's kind of like looking left and right, and she's just hoping to run into something to just not necessarily pick a fight, but to prove a point that she's capable, that she can be out here. And then there's Gilbin. Gilbin is trundling along. He is moving at a fast enough clip to not be left behind, but he's also causing a situation where whoever is taking up the rear of the party is having to remind him to not fall behind completely, lest he be left behind. So, in between complaints from Gilbin, the periodic question of how much further to go, and the occasional complaint from Aya about why there are no goblins or wolves or anything else on this stupid trip, you do eventually arrive at the campsite. It is currently nighttime, and within the campsite itself, you have set up a total of 7 knapsacks. Aya was thankfully given one. She's struggling with trying to figure out how to remove it from the backpack as intended, and she's actively fighting with it just south of the fire while refusing to ask for any support. Gilbin, however, has seemed to have smuggled a deck of cards despite Vidark's purge, and is trying to entice anyone around who is interested in playing a simple game to pass the time without paying much of any other attention other than simply relieving himself of having to march the entire day.
Jure goes,
Sorry, you go.
thank you. Jure goes up to Aya. I see you're having a little bit of trouble there. I've always had trouble with these packs. Listen, I learned a little tip because I've traveled a lot. Can I show it to you?
And she'll kind of put a deadpan look and look over at you and go, I guess saying no would be stupid. And she kind of like tips the backpack towards you and says, show me what I've done wrong.
I appreciate that. And then Jure does a little pop and shimmy and it opens up with no problem. See, I've been on the road a lot, so you'll pick up these little things. I just encourage you to try to be open. I did appreciate while we were walking, you really kept your eye out and looked around. That's going to do you good.
So, yeah, I know. Well, it was kind of dumb that we didn't run into anything. Actually, this brings up the point I've been wanting to make. Excuse me. And she'll stop and go, your name. I'm sorry. It's, and she'll try to clap her like fingers a bit, but she can't seem to remember your character's name.
Jure.
Dre. I don't know how competent all of you are in a scrap. Dre, you seem like probably the toughest one here. Would you mind sparring me so I can know if we can actually hold our ground if we get into a fight?
I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we've been traveling all day. I think we should save our strength.
Wow, that's one way to say I'm afraid to lose to a 15-year-old. Okay. Well, you helped out. Thank you. I just realized I was sounding a bit like a kind of like a one of those. Sorry.
Jure just kind of looks and just kind of shakes her head and go, child, you have a lot to learn. And then she walks away.
Child, a lot to learn. And she's gonna like make a rude gesture at your back when she thinks you're not looking. Then she's gonna look around the other group and then look at the Vadark, Brooks, and Aves, the 3 of you who were the most vocal during the tavern team. She go, well, what about one of you 3? And if you think you've got, the stones to take on a kid?
It's not about stones. It's about being prepared for what we haven't accounted for. We are in the wilderness. There are animals, beasts, all manner of things that could come upon us at any moment.
And she's going to hold up her hands as you're, I get it. Philosophical. I know you're probably saying everything right here, but that does nothing for me. I'm trying to show that I can fight, and you're over here just going words, words, words. And I'm like, I don't want words unless those words hurt. And she's Well, how about this? What if I take first watch and, I can go and use up my energy doing that?
That sounds like a good idea.
And she
But
goes, unless, and she'll kind of
And
look past you and look at the rest of the group. Anyone else wants to take me up on my offer? Gilbin, maybe?